Hi everyone, welcome back to Paracord Planet. So one of the things that we love to do in the paracording community is modify or mod creations that we already have at home. A lot of people in the paracording community also have other hobbies, and one of the things I love about the paracording community is their fun and unique ways to merge both of those hobbies. In the case of today's video, we're going to be taking people who like gaming and people who like paracord and mashing them together. So we have been noticing that there is a community around the internet of people who like to use 550 paracord sheath to modify gaming controllers. If you've ever had that idea in the past, or maybe have tried it yourself but it hasn't come out the way you wanted, you're in luck, because that's what today's video is all about. With that in mind, grab your 550 paracord, grab an old gaming controller, and let's get paracording. So before we get into what we're going to need for our project today, I do just want to remind everybody that this video will not be a tutorial or a how-to solder video, but we do recognize that a lot of people in the community do know how to solder and have soldering kits at their house. If you do know how to solder and you have a soldering kit available, one of the options that you can do is to purchase a cord yourself, cut it to the desired length that you would like, resheath it with your 550 paracord, then solder it back onto the controller. In this video today, we're going to be showing you how to resheath your cord with 550 paracord using a method that hopefully will make things a lot easier for you. For today's video, we are going to need a device to unscrew all of the screws on our controller. As you can see, we have already done that, and we have those screws in a little plastic bag here so we don't lose them. You're going to need your device, your controller, your cord that we're going to be resheathing, and in this case, we did go with the classic N64 green controller. You're also going to need 550 paracord, but the length of your paracord is going to be dependent on the cord that you would like to cover. We mentioned before that if you are soldering yourself, those lengths can vary depending on the size you would like for your controller. In our case, we do have 15 feet of Decay 550 paracord, and we will be cutting this to match the cord length that we need for our controller. In addition to all that, you are going to need some scissors, a lighter, and a hard piece of plastic, and in our case, we're going with an old membership card. So for our first step here, and yours might be a little bit different depending on the cord that you are trying to sheath, but for ours in the Nintendo 64 controller, we are going to have to take off this end cap. As you can see, the wire goes into the part that you would plug into the console itself. So we're going to have to use our hard plastic that we talked about a little bit earlier. We're going to have to cut them to sizes, and then we're going to have to stick them into one of the sides here, one of the sides here, and then a smaller one for the front. And you do want to push down with that plastic until you hear a click, and after you hear that, you should be able to pull this black part out. So give me a couple seconds, we're going to cut down our plastic, we're going to put them in there, and we're going to see if we can do it. This is probably going to be the hardest part of the project. So we have cut down our piece of plastic into these little strips, and what you have to do is put those strips inside of the holes on the left and on the bottom of the piece that you want to pull out. And so now we're going to take our needle nose pliers with a little bit of paper towel around it, and we are going to try and pull out the black part of this front of the controller. Alright, so like we said, that was going to be the most difficult part of this tutorial, and not gonna lie, I may or may not have made like 7 of those plastic things. So that is the first step, and our next step is going to be to open the actual controller itself to get the cord out of here. As you can see, it does go into the shell, and all you have to do for that is to take out the screws that are either in the back or maybe there are some on the front, but we have already done that already, and we have put our screws in a plastic baggie just to make sure that we do not use those. But let's get this controller opened up. So after taking the controller apart and finding out where everything was, we decided that it would be a little bit easier for us to take the cord completely off of the controller. And the way that we did that was to take a soldering iron, and on the back of the motherboard, we took the soldering iron and just made the back really hot to melt that solder, and then we pulled the wires through. As you can see, once you do get the solder really hot on the back of the motherboard, pulling the wires through becomes extremely easy. Again, this is not a soldering video, but we did want to show you exactly the method that we used to help you out. But if you are in the modding community, you more than likely have experience with solder already. So now that we have our wires cut and we do have a little bit of the wires exposed, our next step for this project here is we're going to take off the rubber sheath around the rest of the inner wires. Now at this stage, you might be able to core out a 550 piece of paracord and just inch your way through. I have seen a couple videos online that just take their time and inch it all the way down the sheath of the 550 paracord. That does take a ton of time. So in this video, we're going to be removing the rubber sheath and we're going to be completely replacing it with 550 paracord. So now that we do have the cables outside of the rubber sheath that was going down it, it is time to start the method. And the way that we are going to do this, we have taken our 550 paracord and we have doubled the length of the cords that we would like it to go around. Now the reason that we're doing that is because we're going to take one of the inner sheaths, we're going to wrap it around the cord until it gets to the bottom, and once it gets to the end, we're then going to use a little bit of heat shrinking around it, and hopefully on the other end of our 550, we can take that same strand, and you can notice it by the blue going around it, take that strand and pull our wires through. Let's test it out and see if it works now. Alright, so we are back and we have successfully gotten the wire through the 550 paracord sheath. Now we did test out a couple different ways of doing this, and what we found the easiest way to do it was to take out 6 of the 7 inner cores, leaving 1. Then on the end of that one, put it through a heat shrinking tube along with the cords that you would like to put through your 550 paracord sheath. Heat shrink that down, and then what we did was just pull on the end of our inner core, and because everything is attached with that heat shrink, it went through the cord very, very easily. And then that way, you don't have to pinch and pull and pinch and pull and pinch and pull. All you have to do is just pull one of the inner cores, and you get it to go very easily and very smoothly. So now that we do have a little bit of fray on the end, we're going to bring in our knotters tool. We're going to put it in the middle of the 550 paracord. And as you can see, it's going to lay on that knotters tool pretty nicely. And then this way, we don't have to burn ourselves when we burn down our ends. Once we have the sheath over our cord, the real fun begins, and now it's time to reassemble the controller. So we were able to successfully put the plug-in cap back onto our wires and our cord, and I will tell you that this paracord is going to look awesome with this green of the Nintendo. So as we did mention before, we did need to do a little bit of solder to get the wires back on the motherboard of the controller. That is done and completed, and with that, the cord is now finished, and now all that's left to do is to take our shell and close up our controller. So I want to remind you again that our 550 paracord color for this project was Decay, and if you do want to check that out, a link will be in the description below. But please remember that our website, paracordplanet.com, does feature over 900 different colors and variations of 550 paracord, so no matter your color or your project, you will find the perfect paracord for whatever you need. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and if it did help you, a like and subscribe is always appreciated. I know this seemed like it was a daunting task, but just a little bit of self-confidence, and I believe in you. I think you got this. You can definitely check out other videos here on YouTube if you are worried about where the cords might go or exactly how to solder correctly. And I know that modification on GameCube controllers is very, very popular right now, so we'll put a couple of those links in the description below as well. If there's anything you'd like to see for a future video, just let us know down in the comments below. Have yourself a great rest of the day. We'll see you on the next video. And of course, the question of the video, does it game? Let's go check it out.